Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Metal Magdalene with Jet right here on Metal Messiah Radio. Tonight we have with us a special guest. We have Timothy Voldemars Johnston of the Canadian metal band Hexenklad. Welcome to the show, Tim.
Glad to be here.
So, Tim, tell us a little bit about Hexenklad. What kind of music do you play, and what are some of the lyrical themes that the band sings about?
Well, basically, best way to classify it would probably be folk metal, but we're all basically from black metal bands. So there's that backbone of black metal that comes into it. And, for lyric-wise, it's mostly about getting back to nature, leaving the city, getting back to our roots, figuring out who we are, where we're meant to be kind of thing, finding ourselves. A lot of, some of us are spiritual people, so there's a lot of that in there as well. Different beliefs as well, which makes it far more interesting because I get to interpret through my own perspective, somebody else's perspective, because a lot of these were actually written by our guitarist, reinterpreted by myself, which makes it very interesting because in my previous band it was all written by myself. So this gave me a very different perspective, which was very interesting to play with.
And what was your previous band, Tim?
Well, I was in a band called Eclipse Eternal for 17 years.
Oh my God, you're old.
So I'm experienced.
That's the word. And was that a black metal band too?
Oh yeah, that was straight up black metal. Maybe a little bit more on the symphonic side, but more like summoning the Demu. But yeah, we were definitely about as black metal as you get.
No. So the band formed in 2014. So when did you join the band, and how did that all come about?
Well, that's actually kind of an interesting story because the band itself started by our guitarist, Michael Grund, actually started the band with a previous drummer. I joined. The interesting story is, at the time I was recording the final Eclipse Eternal album at our current guitarist's studio. At that studio, he was also recording Hexenklad. Hexenklad had a different singer at the time. During one of our mixing sessions, I got a call from John that their singer was no longer going to be involved in the project. And my first thought was, well, I'll do it. So we got together. I listened to the music, I read the lyrics, and it was like, well, obviously I'm supposed to be doing this. And it just went right on from there. It was a very natural flow, which is rare for me.
Were you familiar with them at all before you joined?
Well, I was familiar with the people. John Chalmers was in a band called Pagan Ritual, who I had performed with many, many times with Eclipse Eternal. Michael Grund had performed with Sigatir, who is one of my favorite Canadian folk metal bands. So I knew a lot of the members already. The music itself I'd only heard in passing, because obviously it hadn't been recorded, it hadn't been released yet.
Right.
So it was a very interesting experience, but obviously it was meant to be.
Now, are you a fan of this kind of music? I mean, who are some of your personal musical influences?
Well, in this style, I'd probably say Falkenbach, Arcona. Primordial is probably one of my all-time favorites, and I hear a lot of it in this kind of music. Those are probably three of my biggest. I mean, Moon Sorrow, Windeer, those have always been influences,
right.
But they came more to the forefront with this style of music because, I mean, you kind of hear the roots in this, and that's kind of what I pictured us to be sounding
Now, last year you guys came out with your debut album, Spirit of the Stone. So how did you approach, how did you guys all approach this album musically?
Well, first and foremost, the music itself was all written by Michael Grund and John Chalmers. Those were the two who solidified the group and wrote the music. Then they got the original drummer actually played on that as well, and we brought in a bassist to play his part as well. The lyrics were written, but because they were written for the other singer, I had to alter them a bit,
right?
Because I have a very distinct style of my own, so I had to kind of rearrange things to fit my own rhythm and my own understanding of what the lyrics meant. So I actually took a lot of time to talk to Michael about what his lyrics meant to him, so that when I reinterpreted, the meaning stayed the same, but it could be relevant for both of us. So that's why when you listen to it, you can believe what's being said. Because I could never just sing somebody else's words without actually meaning them.
I was going to say.
That's not who I am. I couldn't do that.
I was going to say that had to be kind of weird for you then, being a singer who writes the lyrics too, being given the lyrics. I mean, did it feel kind of weird for you even saying like, I don't know what you're expecting me to do? I mean, that had to be weird for you, Tim.
It was a little offsetting to start with, but Michael and I have we're very connected.
Good.
So a lot of what he was saying were things that I already agreed with or believed in. But it really wasn't that much of a stretch for me to say, oh, I get where you're coming from, and I totally agree with it. But here's a line that I think would add my influence to this. And it was actually quite a good experience, actually. Because, it was almost like you have a painting already done, and then you get to interpret what that painting is about. Whereas before, it was like I had to make the painting to start with, which is a very different thing. So it was a great learning experience for me, actually. And as an artist, that's why you do it.
Right. And now, how many people are in this band, anyways?
Now there's 6 of us. Yeah, we have definitely expanded.
What? Okay, so here's a good question for you. What's the current lineup? Now let's see if you can remember everybody in your band.
Well, here's the funny thing. Everybody in the band I've known for years.
Oh, good.
The only person that I didn't know personally was ironically the person who started the band, Michael Grund. John Chalmers, again, I recorded our last Eclipse Eternal album with him. So, I've got a great relationship with him. He's probably one of my favorite people in the world. So to work with him, it's an honor to work with him. Our drummer is actually his son, Andrew Chalmers. And again, I've worked with him before as well, and he's one of the best drummers I've ever worked with. Our bassist is John Cowell, and I've also worked with him in another band. So that was an obvious, of course we're going to use him. And then, of course, there's Claire, who was in Eclipse Eternal. She was our keyboardist for 10 years. One of my best friends, and somebody I'll be loyal to till the end. So it was obvious that I was going to work with her again. So I mean, it's one of those things kind of meant to be, which is really nice. It's like everybody's on the same wavelength. So it's really quite nice to work with people you like.
And with all these people in the band, you guys still had some guests on the album, right?
Oh yeah. It's always nice to have additional influences. Now, a lot of those people were not on that album. They are current members, so they're all going to be on the
So,
we have a lot. I mean, being in the scene for so long, we have a lot of people that we have a lot of respect for.
mm-hmm.
We have very unique sounds. It's always good to kind of bring those people together and see what you can create together, right? And hopefully we even have some traditional instruments on this one. So, we'll be looking for people with interesting instruments to bring in those kinds of influences onto the next album as well.
So what does Hexenklad mean?
Well, because I didn't start the band,
mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you what he started it for. I know that basically it's clad in curses.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, that's what a hex is, right? It's a curse.
Right.
So, it's kind of an Irish term, but it's to be clad in curses.
And now, since the release of that album last summer, I mean, what have you guys been up to as far as like touring or playing shows or anything? Have you gone out?
Oh yeah. We've done several shows since then. We've done Canada's largest pagan gathering. We were the first metal band to ever play it.
Oh wow!
So that was a big experience for us, which was crazy. It was quite. It was amazing. I mean, we were playing, lightning shot over top of where we were playing on a bright, normal day sky. All of my people were in front of us. There was people from the age of babies all the way up to probably 80, 90-year-olds.
Wow.
Everybody singing along and dancing. It was something none of us will ever forget. We also headlined in Montreal, which is, anybody in Canada knows that, that's a big deal because that's one of the best places in Canada to play. So, we did that. We've played in Toronto a couple times. So it's been really good, but it's all about finding our place because we're such a unique style of band right now that trying to get on the right bill is not always easy because we are not straight up black metal.
Right.
And that tends to be what kind of music we get put into because of our past,
mm-hmm.
which is nice because that's the kind of music we all still listen to. But that's a very different feeling to what we kind of bring to the table. So it'll be interesting to see what this year brings.
And with that being your debut album too, and you guys just putting yourself out there, what have been some of the reactions from the fans and media to it? I mean, it's like you said, they're always expecting you from a black metal point of view, and then they see you guys kind of doing this kind of paggedy folk stuff. So what was their reactions to that?
Well, actually, it's been quite amazing because I'm pretty open on social media. I have a lot of people on my account. I'm on it all the time. So people kind of know my background. Mm-hmm. So when they see me doing something folky, they go, well, yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. Like, even Eclipse Eternal's last album, there was a lot of Acid True Beliefs in it, mm-hmm. the lyrics. And while that was, I don't think you could probably get a darker album than ours, but you could see, you could trace back to where it was going, mm-hmm. and Hexenklad is where it was going. So a lot of our fans kind of, they went through our albums and they kind of said, well, this makes sense as the next, evolution of where you would be. So, it's been really quite good, actually. People have been very enthusiastic about what we've done, and of course what we're going to be doing. And anybody who sees us live,
and
they know. Like, you can't fake it live.
No.
Right? No,
that's why I was wondering.
There's a lot of bands that have a good album, but then when you see them live, you're like, what is this shit?
Right.
Like, these guys don't believe any of it. Mm-hmm. Like, if anybody actually comes out and sees us, they're going to know it's legit. Like, mm-hmm. They're going to know who we are. They're going to know that, this is something real. There's power
And now you guys, came out with that album like almost 9 months ago, and now you're talking how you guys are already, kind of working on the new album. And I also saw you had a photo shoot, and my God, it looks like there's a million people in that photo. So how did that go? And did you guys go, any place special to shoot the pics?
Well, we went to this snowy valley with one of our favorite photographers, Victoria Belosi. She did the previous photo shoot with us. We figured it'd been a while since we had really done anything publicly. Mm-hmm. We had done a lot in the background, but we hadn't really introduced who all the new members were. So we thought it was about time that we brought them into the light, showed everybody what we're up to, who we're proud to be standing beside. We thought that was really important, that people knew that we are not only still here, but we're growing, and there's something to look forward to. But I think the pictures really kind of show who we are. Mm-hmm. They kind of give an idea for people to know what the future holds, which I think is a really good thing. It's kind of important, especially in the music sphere as it is right now.
And now, and writing for the new album, so how has that process been going, and what can we expect from this new album, Tim?
Well, it's actually been going really good. We have the backbone for 11 songs already written.
Wow.
So basically the whole album, all the guitars, the basics for drums, lyrics. I have 7 songs already written. 5 of them are by myself. 2 of them are Michael Grunn's. So, this one's going to be very different because we have 6 members, each mm-hmm. writing their own parts.
Right.
So there's a lot of different influences coming in and building on top of each other. And it's been quite amazing because you would think with so many members that you would have conflicting ideas. But that hasn't been the case. It's actually been like, what about this idea? Oh, that idea is great, but how about we add on this idea? Oh, that idea is great. Well, how about we add on this to that, to this, to that, to this? And it's kind of like snowballing. It's like where there was once one tree, now there's a forest. Mm-hmm. And that's quite beautiful to see because, the minute you get a forest, you got all kinds of things living in it that you didn't have any idea that were going to be there. And that kind of, there's a lot of power in that, a lot of magic in that. And I'm really seeing that. The music itself, for the most part, it's a lot faster. It might be a little bit more black metal, maybe, mm-hmm. But with still some serious folk anthems. It's going to be something very interesting for people to hear. I think this is kind of the progression that people have been hoping for, and I think they're going to be very pleased when they hear the end result.
Well, it sounds like you have some great energy in there now, too, as far as you say, with all these new members in there now and everybody contributing into the writing process and everybody being happy and excited about it. That's something in itself.
Well, yeah, there's like a kinetic energy when everybody's on the same wavelength, when everybody wants the same thing. When everybody's listening to something and saying, yeah, that's great, like that really snowballs, and it just becomes better and better and better. So that's kind of what's been happening, and it's really quite amazing. We've even been rehearsing some of the new songs.
Wow.
And as we rehearse them, it's like they just keep getting better. Whereas I know, as a musician, once you've played a song 100 times, you're like, I don't want to ever hear that song again. But for us, it's been like, 101, 102, 103. This is still awesome. Mm-hmm. That's when you know a song is good, right? Like, when I'm driving home from practice and I'm whistling the melody of the song in my head, I'm going, yeah, that's good. Like that has meaning beyond what I'm listening to. That's when you could feel the real power.
Now, for the rest of this year, do you guys got some shows coming up this year?
We don't have anything set at the moment, but we are practicing right now to start probably doing shows late spring, early summer. We're probably going to do quite a few. At least we're looking forward to doing quite a few. But it really depends what comes our way, because we kind of want to make sure that we're playing shows that make sense for us to play. Because, I mean, we're not going to really fit on a DSBM bill, right? Like, that's really not our kind of, it's something that I might go, I would go to watch, but not necessarily something that I would want to be singing with.
Right.
Because that really wouldn't make sense for us.
Right.
I also wouldn't want to play, a straight up death metal bill. It wouldn't make sense for any of us. But, there's some bands that I'm really hoping to look to do some shows with this year. Azeroth Incarnate as probably somebody we're going to be doing a bunch of shows with. I'm hoping to do some shows with Black Empire, because those are my buddies from out in Quebec. There's bands that I'm sure we'll be seeing quite a bit of this year.
And so, Tim, where can people find out more about the band? What sites do you have out there? They could see what's going on with you guys.
Well, the best one to go to is our Facebook page. I mean, that's we're always up to date on that. You can either do that. Well, I would suggest doing that. You can always add me, because I'm on there literally every day updating stuff. Most of our members are online, so they can all be found. They can all be talked to. We're pretty easygoing people. We have a YouTube presence. There's a Hexenklad YouTube page. There's also a Voldemars page, which is my page. I think I have something like 500 videos up.
Wow.
I do a lot of videos of local shows and best of black metal shows and all that kind of stuff. So, we're very active.
Well, that's good. Then we know what the heck's going on with you guys.
Always.
So, Tim, thanks for taking the time out to do this interview with us tonight to tell us a little bit about Hexenklad and what we could be expecting for you in the future, and a little bit about what you've done so far. And I wish you all the best in releasing that new album and throughout the year. And once that album comes out, we hope you come back on the show and tell us all about it.
I definitely appreciate it.